Share with you about the power and value of a good sense of humor. And we hear about people who have a sense of humor, and I think if you have a really good one, it has you. I grew up in a family, I'm the youngest of 5 kids, 18 years between the oldest and the youngest child. I learned very quickly that parents learn the oldest kids' names best. I was 9 years old before I realized my name was Jim and not Demet. My dad go, "Get out of there, Demet!" My father was a very tense man. My father was an engineer. Four of my siblings are engineers, and I am a humor consultant. You can kind of imagine our family gatherings. My dad, by his very presence in a room, caused tension. Have you ever met anyone like that? Who just by being in the room could suck the life out of it. My mother, on the other hand, my mother had the ability to look reality in the eye and deny it. Which, that can be a gift. So I grew up in this great dichotomy. I grew up in this family where my mother had the ability to change people's minds by using her humor very effectively, very creatively. As we come into the harvest season, as we come into Thanksgiving, I'll share a little story with you about what happened Thanksgiving Day, 1972, in the Pelley family household. Not everybody could sit at the big oak table. Some of us had to sit at that dorky fold-up card table back by the kitchen door. We have to wait until someone dies at the head table. And then we rotate in one by one, you know. Every year I call up my grandmother and I say, "Grandma, are you going to be with us?" This is my dad's mother, and she said, "I'll be there, damn it." And my mother came out of the kitchen. She had the Thanksgiving turkey. She was so proud. She was beaming ear to ear. She came down what we called the plastic runway. See, in 1957, my parents bought brand new carpet, and my dad said, "By God, $4.99 a yard." They got a little plastic runner to protect it. They also have a couch perfectly preserved in plastic, just in case the Queen of England ever swings by. Cut that couch open. My mom came down the plastic runway, and she was just beaming ear to ear, and as she got ready to set that turkey on the kitchen, or on the big oak table, she caught her heel on the little edge of that runner, and we all watched in slow motion as a 21-pound butterball turkey slid off, and it happened in slow motion. And it hit the floor, and it made a sound meat should not make. Kind of a little gulp sound, and a little ball of stuffing popped right out of the and she was great. She reached down and she scooped it up and she said, "Don't worry, I'll go get the other one." And my uncle never caught on. It was an incredible charade because I think for about 4 seconds I believed. Nobody had actually seen another turkey. But at that moment you want to believe. We all sat around with cow eyes. Have you ever been in a situation where you ask yourself, did that just happen? It's that bad. And my mother came out of the kitchen and she was smiling ear to ear. She said, "I've got the other one." Changed our mind. I'm a firm believer that it's not what happens to you that matters. We hear about market conditions. We hear about economic impact. We hear this, we hear that, and we think that's going to impact our business. And you know what? You're absolutely right. Everything impacts business. For the last 10 years, I have been teaching people in the tourism and hospitality industry how to find their sense of humor. I believe that everyone has a sense of humor. Unfortunately, some of us haven't used it in a while. How many of you work with people who are terminally serious? If they're here, don't point. I don't need just want a good idea that from time to time, we all run into people who are terminally serious. We don't always have the luxury of being in a beautiful hotel such as the Esmeralda. Beautiful hotel, wonderful room. In fact, I noticed right away that the towels were so thick and fluffy I could hardly get my suitcase closed. Just like that. Anna, you laugh, but you've been cleaning the soap out every day, haven't you? So they replace it every time they come back in. Yeah. Some of you going, well, I don't even use talc, but I'm taking this with me. Let me give you a great tip, because I like my presentations to be full of tools and skills. Take the shower caps. Now, most of us don't use shower caps anymore, but here's what you do. Next time you have a big salad, you pull the shower cap out, and instead of using saran wrap on the top, you just put the shower cap straight over the top. So how do you go about getting a sense of humor? Well, let me tell you, in my philosophy of life, because I learned it from my mother. My mother gave me some great advice at a very young age. She said, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Now, I'm a firm believer that if you don't love what you do, if you don't love your job and the industry and the profession you have chosen, you should get out. And I think it would be a lot better. But some people insist on coming to work and being miserable every single day. And they don't mind telling you about it, do they? Oh, my God, we've got to be serious. This is education. You ever notice people who complain a lot shake? Staff meeting. The other thing is when they complain, they sound like ducks. Mack, 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 mack. You'll notice particularly if they complain about the same things time and time again. Mack, mack, mack. I love to take my sense of humor with me when I travel. I got on board the plane to come down to Palm Springs, and just before I walked through the door, this big, nice, brand new 737 with United Airlines, I touched the side of the aircraft before I got on board, and I turned to the people behind me in the jetway and I said, is that a crack? That doesn't look right. Now, people usually have two reactions to that. One, they say, I don't think that's very funny. Or two, they want to touch the same area that I was touching. They want to check that out. Then they serve lunch on this flight. They had two choices. United Airlines chicken with all-purpose brown sauce. Now, as a professional speaker, I just don't get enough chicken. The second selection was a little tiny club sandwich, not all 4 sections, but 2 sections. We were so far back in the plane, they'd run out of chicken, and my little heart was broken, so we got our little club sandwiches. And again, the man next to me took a bite of his sandwich, and he immediately turned to me and he said, how's your sandwich? We're only this far apart, and keep that in mind. I said, it's fine, and so's yours. And he said, no, he said, something's really wrong with this sandwich, and he was waving it in my face, and he leaned over me, and he poked his finger in the flight attendant call button, looked up and down the aisle, nobody came, poked his finger in there again. After about 3 or 4 minutes, a flight attendant came down from the business class cabin and said, sir, is there something I can help you with? And he picked the sandwich up, and he waved it at the flight attendant, and he said, you know, this is a really bad sandwich. And she was great. She took it out of his hand and said, bad sandwich. You're a bad sandwich. Now, I don't know if you've ever laughed so hard that you lost brake fluid. And the great thing was she said that, then she set the sandwich down, walked away. It was over for her. We all kind of sat there in stunned silence. You could hear little kids 3, 4 rows up. Bad sandwich, bad.